Hi, everybody. We're continuing on our marathon, and today we're with Jimmy Clark with JC Music and Wellness. And you've seen him, he's a musician out in the festivals. You've seen him perform. You've seen a lot of things. You've heard a number of things that he's doing, but we're going to get to know him a little better today. Hello, Jimmy. Welcome aboard.
Hello.
And so one of the things, let's go ahead. I know you're a musician, you do a lot of things, but what do you do when you're not performing music at festivals?
Well, when I am not performing music at festivals, I am teaching classes at festivals. And I am providing workshops and I am giving lectures and I am working with clients even on the ground at some festivals who meet me there. So my business is JC Music and Wellness. I've been in business for 25 years. I am 38. I started when I was 13 years old. I've actually very limitedly ever worked real conventional jobs out in the world. As far as retail, I sold pizza for a while and I delivered pizzas for a while, but mostly I have been providing music education services, stagecraft, studio craft, production assistance, managerial consultation, pretty much everything and anything related to the music industry, even helping clients get their legal documents in order, writing business plans, and also teaching guitar, bass, piano, drums, harmonica, the didgeridoo, vocals, song composition, music theory, and I provide a spiritual backbone for people looking to enhance their creative lives.
So that sounds wow, that's a lot of things. But it sounds like to me what you're doing is basically getting people to act in their higher power through music and through their various types of ways of dealing with that.
I
I
That's
um,
exactly what I do.
and so that sort of thing. So that sounds like first a lot of work and a lot of things to do. I know you have some music out that's coming out, but you mostly this teaching aspect. Do you do it? You do it at festivals? You do it? Do you also do it personally outside of festivals?
Oh yeah, well that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I haven't been teaching at festivals since I was 13 years old.
No.
No, I take clients privately in my own home studio, which is where I'm sitting right now. I do at home of the client
Hmm.
sessions. So I travel out. I did that for the longest part of my career where I was a delivery music educator. So I would drive to people's homes. I even got paid to drive out to other states before to do intensives and retreats with people. But my everyday things, I have clients. I work with small children who are learning music for the first time. I work with the elderly. I've had a music client as old as 83 years old. Yeah,
Hmm.
the man contacted me and said that his wife she was like 83 or 84. He's like, she always wanted music and it was the one thing she never did. So I went and we did a month's worth of guitar lessons. It didn't stick, but she got to say she learned how to play an E minor chord and strum it.
I understand that. I understand that. I'm in the middle of one of my own projects just because it's on my bucket list. Um, yeah, so I can understand that. There's never a point where you can't learn. We teach that
Mhm.
all the time. So do you do any online teachings or you taking
Oh
class
yeah.
online?
Yep, that is the COVID. COVID was an interesting beast because just not to sound morose, but if it didn't kill you or ruin your life in some way or take away family members, if you were kind of like almost like a little bit around COVID, it was a very prosperous and abundant time. Uh,
Hmm.
I actually personally lost very, very, very few people during COVID, and I wasn't very largely affected. Um, I was able to keep working throughout it, and then because I'm a business owner, I was also able to get unemployment. So I had the funding and the resources to actually build my first online platform during COVID. So now, ever since 2020, 2019, 2020, I actually also offer online client services all across the country. I have clients in California, Connecticut, Massachusetts. I've got one in New York. I've got one we're in the Midwest, Pennsylvania, Ohio. So people, and usually for that, it's not always music instruction. It is sometimes. I got very good at teaching music through Google Docs. I'm a Capricorn, so I'm all about the organization and having like, all right, well, let's make 75 documents that I can teach with. So
Hmm.
yes, I have an online platform that COVID kind of provided me the time and the means to create. So for that, it's not always just music instruction. One of the other aspects of my business that I can do anywhere in the world, I don't even have to be on video for it, is artist life coaching. That's
Mhm.
actually what my most favorite of the subsets of my business is. I'm an artist coach. So, for example, I have an artist I'm working with actively now for the last 3 years. We do everything from writing her business plan, doing vision statements, arranging her studio sessions, hiring the musicians, getting them all paid, getting the contract signed, talking about her after the project, having her do a recap,
Mhm.
yearly recaps, anything that artists need, not to become necessarily a better artist, but to become a more well managed and organized and intentional, mindful artist. And we can all use that. Even
Absolutely.
I, even I have a PA. I have a personal assistant. I don't use her for everything, but she handles all the stuff that I would rather be out working than doing, like creating social media memes for the holidays. Like that's not something I put my time in. I hire somebody for that kind of stuff.
And people have been talking to me that I should get some more of that myself. I've been talking to a lot of the successful people about getting that idea of it. And we're going to be talking later in these things to someone who can help you with that. But so what I just heard, so I have a friend who's a musician per se, somebody's at home, a father, a mother, a grandmother, a friend, and says, well, I have a friend who needs that. So how would they contact you to say, maybe get them a Yule gift of maybe a starting session?
Well, it's a good thing you asked because right now my social media is I have promotions. I have a local promotion where I'm in New Jersey, so people around are going to be seeing this from all over. But if you happen to be in New Jersey or know somebody in New Jersey who would want to have experience, music, or coaching, um, on my JC Music and Wellness Facebook page, you will find an event where I'm offering a day of free lessons this Saturday. I'm doing that in person, but I'm also offering online sessions for people who reach out. So if somebody wants to try an online session, I will also be soon setting up a day where I will sit at home for about 5 hours and fill the day up with people who want to do an online coaching session for free to try things out and check on the chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
Additionally, I'm also on Instagram. There's a JC Music and Wellness
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, and that's where most people can find it. I don't know if I should put my phone number on this video, but I do have it on
You
my
can
social.
if you want to, but yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
Cool.
but
Well,
you never know. So, but you can find it at those locations.
yeah.
Uh, we're pretty open. I mean, this is the world that we live in. Um,
I mean, if my phone number's on social media, then it doesn't matter. So if you want to call me to set up a consultation, please reach out at 908-616-5716,
mhm.
or JC Music and Wellness at gmail.com. But it's pretty easy to find me. I'm the only JC Music and Wellness on any of the platforms.
Terrific. So you utilize all that. You give coaching, not just, like you said, artist life coaching. I think that's a pretty rare thing. So let me talk a little bit about it. I know we're not going to talk a lot about it later. We will, but I know you have a movie that you've been developing, and I've seen pieces
Yes.
of it. I think we need to spend a whole. When you're ready, that's a whole nother subject. So
That's gonna be soon too.
yeah.
Yes, well, that's one of the other things I do is for
Mhm.
people interested, I'm also a music and film producer. I know it sounds like I wear 500 different hats. There's just many branches on this tree hat, so they all go in different directions.
Mhm.
I am an active filmmaker and music producer. The music project I have for my own stuff is called Clark and Coble.
Mhm.
Um, Coble, I don't know if I told Ed this or I might have mentioned this, but unfortunately, my partner Josh Coble passed away in August suddenly.
Mhm.
So Clark and Coble is now kind of Clark bringing you presenting Clark and Coble. But
Mhm.
we created this epic movie called The Fool's Journey, FOOLS apostrophe, because there
Mhm.
was two of us.
Mhm.
The Fool's Journey is to my knowledge, it is the world's first music video anthology full-length feature film based on the tarot. So imagine The Wall meets The Princess Bride. It's structured as such. And with that project, it's a like I said, it's a music video anthology. So it is in fact 22 independent music videos that also put together with the other bits create a full-length feature film that runs 2 hours and 28 minutes. But it's also obviously the music and the art involved. So it's a multimedia project. We actually just the other day created most of the website for clarkandcoble.com. That will be live soon. And when it's live, we're actually going to be putting the first song right on there if you add your email to our email registration field on the website. So yeah, Clark and Coble, we have currently 180 masters that we will be ready to release as soon as we actually hit the button.
Wow, that's fantastic. I mean, I love seeing that. So let's go ahead and talk for a few more minutes, but I would like to know your idea, because you're very much involved with media and pagan music and all that. I think it's going to become more and more strange. You're starting to see more and more mainstream activities. I made a prediction recently that by 2025, maybe within 2025, we'll start seeing stadium performances. We're going to start seeing larger scales. I
just saw 2 very large scale pagan flavored bands, and I was surprised how many people were there. I saw 2 bands about a month apart, both in Brooklyn, New York. I saw Heilung,
which has broken the barriers.
Yeah, with their bones. Like I was like, oh, where's Starwood?
Yeah, that's right.
But I saw them, and I just saw Wardruna at the same theater too. And it was the same thing. It was a bunch of witchy folk banging drums. Only they had a simulated fire, not a real fire, because inside of a venue. But I was like, oh, yeah, this is what we do. And the place was called the King's Theater in Brooklyn, and it was probably about 1,000 to 2,000 people in there.
So I think, yeah,
it was packed.
I think that's growing, and especially you're starting to see our numbers. So people who say that, oh, being a pagan musician just isn't really a life. I know there's a lot to do it, but people get pushed back on that a lot. I see it all the time that, it's one thing to do it for fun, but it's another thing to think that there's a life for it. But you've made a life out of music and wellness, and you've created a path for yourself. And now it sounds like through your life coach training that you're helping others get into a path where they can actually make a living on that.
Yeah, well, what's very cool too is, again, I'm a man of many hats. One of the things that is my flagship that I actually teach at a lot of the major festivals, and I offer a weekly free Zoom group that's sponsored by a private organization called CSPNJ. I've been doing that for 7 years. They have me listed under their spirituality pillar. They're called Collaborative Services Partnership of New Jersey, and they're an outreach organization. I work through Trenton Psychiatric Hospital for them. I do community events, and we're talking like this is like state level involvement.
Right.
But what's amazing about it is that for the last 7 years, they have let me do moon magic and manifestation journaling. So because it's non-denominational, or conservative, which we know which direction often conservatism leads. And when there's an undertone of like, you might find a Bible in every single residence room, but you might not find the other books.
Right.
So neither here nor there. But the point is that on a state level, they are letting me offer life coaching that teaches people in a non-denominational way how to use the lunar cycles, the solar cycles, the wheel of the year to manifest that which we want in our lives. And, I use the agricultural metaphor for, so, we're talking about like right now is solstice. For me, solstice is like right between now and December 16th. I'll give you a little moon magic taste here of what I do. So like what I'm going to be advising people to do today, I have a group today at 3:00 to 4:00 Eastern Standard Time. Every single week I do the same day and time. And what I'll be talking about today is how we are now in the small window before December 16th. December 16th is my cutoff date creatively and professionally for the work year, because I consider solstice to be New Year's for me. That's the end of my year. It's the longest, darkest night. It's the darkness in its full aspect. It's pitch black out. I'm going to be actually in Massachusetts on Goddess Mountain with Lady Tiana Marape of the Temple of Sophia.
Mm.
We are welcomed into her solstice ritual every year as like kind of guests from far away, and I'll be up there in the darkness. We're doing our ritual. So December 16th is the cutoff date. I figure 16th is a Friday. That means I have Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday to transition out of the active lifestyle buzz. It's like you start to unplug the wires one at a time. And you start to feel yourself relaxing. So I give myself that 4 or 5 day period year by
Mhm.
year until solstice, at which point at solstice, my to-do lists, they are done. They are retired. Even if I didn't finish it, they're getting crossed off the list and they're getting moved into a new list. Any of my projects that are in process, I finish whatever phase I'm in between now and then, and I do not begin another phase. So for me, this next month, and what I teach to my people is that this next 3.5 weeks is a time of conclusion and restraint.
Hmm.
Not allowing yourself to say, I had a client call me today, hey, I heard you might be doing some recording projects. I'm like, talk to me after Imbolc, dude. I'm not doing anything between solstice and Imbolc except resting, recharging, pooling magnetism, pooling ideas, saving money, and staying pretty quiet for about 45 days. And this is a yearly thing. This is how I work my year and how I teach people to work my year,
Mhm.
uh, my year program. So that's kind of the idea is rolling it back. I'm allowed to do this on a state level, and it's pretty cool because it's bringing a pagan thing just enough under, calling it pagan, but it's still what we do as
It's
pagans.
it's life management though. It's a basic life management skill, just utilizing, some different iconography. Because it is sounds like you do life management work, and so it sounds like you'd be amazing. That you're an amazing coach and everything else.
I love doing it. the
So JC Wellness, and you say and is it the Asper sign or is it
the ampersand.
yeah,
Well,
or
because
and?
for example, an email address won't let you have an
Okay.
ampersand, and my email address or things like Instagram is JC Music and wellness
Mhm.
at what. But like on my website, it's an ampersand.
Okay.
On my on my
I
business,
want to ask that because that can get that can get a little tricky at times. But so there you go. But you can look it up, Google, look them
yeah.
up on
Well, the
Facebook.
amazing thing is that I consider myself a boutique coach, meaning I don't take on 50, 60 clients. If I did, I wouldn't have time to do the other things that I do, like produce video and music for myself and for clients.
Hmm.
Because I produce music and videos for clients as well. I wouldn't have time to nurture my personal relationships, and this is all part of the Moon Magic course too. Is the 11 life buckets. I
Hmm.
live those 11 buckets in order to keep things going. So it's one of those things where, as far as getting tricky, getting back to your original point, yes, but I don't get most of my business from online because I'm a boutique coaching company. So I usually have about 20 to 25 clients at a time that get very involved interaction from me, at a very, very, very fair rate, actually,
Hmm.
because I want to be accessible to people. Um, but I also do that with everything else. So the point is the trickiness of SEO and stuff like that. Most of my business is referral based, so I haven't run into many problems with the and versus the ampersand.
It's one of those things that I'm learning. You deal with the online for people in the online world. Well, thank you. I really appreciate this. It gives us a real insight into what you do and what people can look at that and that sort of thing. And so yeah. So as you head into the end of the year, you're going to finish up your projects, and then when you come out of Inbolc, I guess I want to catch up with you after that.
Well, I
Uh,
mean, I'll still be active during that time, but I just don't get into like heavy duty projects. Like I've got so many little things that there's so many little things that need to be
oh,
addressed
sure.
at any given time. I just practice restraint. Start like I could go in the studio tomorrow and I could start recording 15 new songs because that's just how I operate. I'm a professional songwriter, so you put me in the yard with a bunch of bricks and tell you to build a wall, you're going to get your wall. So that's me when it comes to music. So I actually have to like say no.
I hear
I'm
you.
not going in the studio because you know what happens? You get into a new project and it's not just like, oh, I'm going to go in the studio and do a thing. No, now you're hiring 15 people. You got to pay them. You got to do contracts. You got to arrange the schedule. You have to make sure the mixing and the mastering is done. And before you know it, you've got like a whole month's worth of work and you've got 3 weeks to finish it. My
Oh,
advice to everybody out there is a little free life coaching advice. Between now and December 16th, wrap it up. Whatever it is, get it done and then take a break. That's the one thing everybody doesn't do. People don't eat enough, they don't sleep enough, they don't drink enough water, and they don't chill out and enjoy slow recreational time. Society doesn't really encourage us to do this.
no, I think that's a real truth. And I think that's a great place. So here you go, JC Music and Wellness, and you can find out all of these things. If nothing else, just watch the Facebook page. There's a lot of fascinating things there, and just follow, because I think you're going to see a lot of great things in 2023. I'm looking forward to all of it. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. You'll be seeing more of me because you and I got conversations to be having about other projects on the side. So keep an eye out. You might see this face in this hat more often.
Oh, I certainly hope so. It would be a pleasure. And with
Excellent.
that, and then with that, we'll continue on with our Yule stories, and